Hello everyone, welcome back to Simply Sadie Crochet. Today I wanted to do a review of a Dollar Tree product, Crafter's Square Crochet Amigurumi Animal Kit. And it says that it comes with plastic needle, yarn, stuffing, crochet hook, and plastic beads. And this is what we're going to be trying to make today. So it does look like we have some sort of instructions here, which is good because there have been other people that have made videos and some of the comments have said that it didn't come with instructions, so I'm glad that this does. We will see how the instructions do. So far it looks like it might be pretty decent instructions, lots of photos, so we'll see how this goes. It also has a plastic needle, some safety eyes, which I have never used safety eyes before, so I'm actually excited to try them out on this project. And I'm not exactly sure, oh, thread for the mouth. So there are the safety eyes and the thread for the mouth and a little needle. Then we have a little thing of stuffing. We have a plastic crochet hook, which I will say is not the worst thing in the world. This would be really good for someone that is trying to learn to crochet for the first time, if they aren't sure that they want to continue, and you know, even though a crochet hook is pretty inexpensive, this might be a good starting point depending on how bendy this ends up being, so we will see. And then we've got white, black, and yellow. So, and this is in, okay, there we go. I was afraid that taking it out was going to be a little bit of a hassle, but seems pretty easy. I do have a unicorn kit, so if I still have all the parts to that, I may do a video reviewing that as well. I am noticing that it does not come with stitch markers, so you may want to just use a separate piece of yarn, and you'll want to have some scissors. So let me go get those. So they want us to create a magic ring first and then do the bee's body. That makes more sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I think we figured it out. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull this magic ring closed. Okay, round 1 is a 1 chain, 6 single crochets, and a slip stitch. So we're not gonna need the yarn, and we're just gonna slip stitch into, I'm assuming, the first single crochet that we did, and I'm gonna just bury this yarn tail in with it. Okay, so that is how we end our row. Okay, so round 2, it says 1 chain, 6 increases, and slip stitch. So I'm assuming it's 6 increases around, including where we went into the slip stitch, but let's check. So it's going to be 12 stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so 2 single crochets into each stitch around.
Okay, so we've done our 2 stitches around, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12. So now we are going to slip stitch into I'm going to say that we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch, the first single crochet. Okay. Round 3 is chain 1, or 1 chain, 1 single crochet and 1 increase 6 times. Okay, so 1 single crochet, again I'm assuming in that same stitch, and then in the next stitch over I'm assuming the increase stitch, which is just 2 single crochets. And we're going to do that all the way around. One, and then 2 single crochets or an increase. Okay, and then slip stitch into that first single crochet that we did of the round. Okay, so that was round 2, 3, round 3. So round 4 is chain 1 and then 2 single crochets and an increase 6 times, and then slip stitch at the end, which will give us 24 stitches. So into the same stitch we're going to do 1 single crochet, next stitch over another single crochet, and then an increase stitch on the third spot over. Okay, so we're going to repeat this around, single crochet into the next 2, okay, so single crochet into the next 2 stitches, and then 2 single crochets. Just repeat that all the way around. One, 2, single crochet, single crochet, 2 single crochets, okay, and then slip stitch into the first single crochet that we did. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4. Round 5 is a chain, 3 single crochets, and then an increase. So 1 single crochet into that same stitch, 2, 3, and increase. Okay, repeat that around. 1, 2, 3, increase. And last group of stitches, 1, 2, 3, increase. Actually, let me go through that again because that didn't seem like it got, okay. 2, and then slip stitch in that first single crochet. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3, 4, round 5. So now it's round 6. So this is where we're going to start doing just the regular single crochets around, because round 6 is 1 chain, 30 single crochets, slip stitch, 30 stitches. Okay, so it's 1 chain, and then in each stitch around is 1 single crochet into each stitch. So a single crochet into that same stitch as the chain 1 that we did. Okay. Okay, so now we are at the end of round 6. Okay, so we're gonna continue with our yellow yarn because the black yarn is in the red font, but we aren't switching to the black yarn yet. As you can see, we just did round 6. And so the red yarn is going to be shown in, or the black yarn is going to be shown in the red font. So this is where we're going to start with the black. So this is just in regular yellow and then black. So let's do that next. So we're just going to slip stitch to close like normal. Okay. And then round 7 is pretty much the same as round 6, so it's a chain, 30 single crochets, but then in the slip stitch, that's when we change to black. So chain 1 and 30 single crochets around. So far using this hook, it is sturdy enough that I would definitely save this hook. And even if, like even for a beginner in your house, or you know, someone that's not sure if they want to stick with crocheting, this is a pretty decent crochet hook to use just to give it a try. It's not super flimsy and it's pretty well sturdy, so if you wanted to try with other yarn like Red Heart Super Saver or Loops and Threads, that would be something that would be a good idea to try to see if it's still
stands up with that type of yarn, but it's a pretty good type of hook, especially for a newbie. So okay, so here is where we are going to slip stitch. So I'm thinking where it says slip stitch, we're gonna start by going in with the yellow and then joining the black. So just gonna bring that black through and hold on to both ends of the black and yellow yarn together. Okay, there we go. And then we're just gonna start working in the black. So it's gonna be round 8 is 1 chain, 30 single crochets, and then slip stitch in black. Okay, so this is a good, so I'm going to do a chain and then do 1 single crochet in black before I show you guys. So I just did that first single crochet. So this is where I got a little bit confused, because now I'm realizing it's only 1 row in black, 1 row in yellow, and as you can see on the picture, it's only 1 row of each color. So that makes sense, because I thought it was going to be 2 rows of black, 2 rows of yellow or something like that, but that makes more sense now. Okay, so we're just gonna single crochet in black all the way around. I will say that this is a cool project, especially if you don't know what to make, or you just want to make something quick. These seem like good little projects for really quick refreshers or on the go. Okay, so now it's slip stitch. So we are going to go into that first stitch, and instead of going through with the black, we're going to take our yarn, and since the yellow yarn was already attached, I'm just gonna bring that up here, pull that through, and pull that through the loop on my hook. So now that is done. I'm gonna chain 1. Okay, so we are round 9, so it's 1 chain, 30 single crochet, and then slip stitch in the black. Okay, so we are on round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, round 9. So we just did our chain 1, and now we're gonna do 30 single crochets around in yellow. Okay, and now we are back where the slip stitch was. So we're going to go into that first
single crochet, and then we're going to bring that black up, and we're going to slip stitch because now we're switching to the black yarn. Okay, and making sure to keep your yarn ends tight. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we are on round 10. So it's a chain, 30 single crochets, and then slip stitch in yellow. So we're going to do our chain, single crochet around, okay. And so now it's time for the color change, which we partially know that because of how the pattern is worked. Okay, so we're gonna bring in our yellow yarn and make sure that that previous black, the yarn from the previous row, is tight, and then bring the yellow through. Okay. 10. Round 11 is a chain 1, 30 single crochets, last stitch, and then we're going to join with the black yarn. So we're gonna go into that first, oops, we're gonna go into the first stitch that we did, and we're going to grab the black yarn, slip stitch, chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So round 12 is chain 1, 30 single crochets, and slip stitch in the yellow. Okay, or I'm sorry, in the black. Okay, so this is, I believe, the last row of the black. Okay, so we are at the end of this round. 12. So now we're going to join with our yellow yarn. Okay, and for round 13 through 14,
we're going to chain 1 and then 30 single crochet and then slip stitch. So we're going to chain 1, single crochet in same stitch, in our yellow, and we're going to continue around for 2 rounds. Okay, we are at the end of round 14, so I'm going to slip stitch into that first single crochet of the round, and I'm going to take a pause and I'm going to look at when we add the eyes. Okay, so add the eyes and stuff it with fiberfill, shape it by hand after round 17. Okay. Alright, and then it does have a little picture of where approximately to put the eyes, so that's good. So round 15 is a chain, 3 single crochets, and then 1 decrease. Okay, is chain 1, single crochet into the next 3, and then a decrease. Okay, so we're gonna do that decrease real quick. Okay, single crochet into the next 3, decrease, and decrease. Okay, alright, so we're going to slip stitch. Okay, round 16 is a chain, 2 single crochet into the next 2, and then a decrease. Okay, so we're going to do the chain 1, single crochet into the next 2, 2, and then decrease, single crochet into the next 2, 1, 2, and decrease. Okay, so single crochet into the next 2, single crochet the next 2 together, single crochet into the next 2, single crochet 2 together, single crochet into the next 2, and then 2 together, and then we'll join to that first single crochet of the round. Okay, and round 17 is chain 1, 1 single crochet, and then 1 decrease, 6 times. Okay, so chain 1, 1 single crochet, single crochet 2 together, 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 and then slip stitch into the first single crochet. And now it says add the eyes and stuff with fiberfill, shape with hands. So I'm assuming that I've never used safety eyes before, so I'm assuming that when I put the safety eyes on, the eye will go through the stitch and then this will go on this way. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to say maybe one eye is about right here. So let's just see. That looks pretty cute. And I'm just gonna push the butt up and then let's see if they have any. So I have the safety eye in there and I'm just gonna put it on this way. Okay. Definitely not secure. Maybe it's this way. Okay, I'm going to just say that these are definitely not secure, so I do not recommend making this for a small child, because this can easily slide, and I do not think that they're supposed to do that. I could be wrong, but I do not think that safety eyes are supposed to do that. Even if I put it on this way, it still comes off, so just be aware. Do not make this for a small child. If you're going to make this for a small child, do not use the safety eyes. Do your research to find good safety eyes, and or just use thread to thread the eye on. Okay, other eye, I'm gonna say alright, now we are going to add the stuffing. Okay, so I just took the stuffing out of the package and I just fluffed it up a little bit, and I'm just gonna start stuffing it in like I normally would stuff any of the animals I make. Okay. Round 18 is a chain and then 6 decreases. Okay, so I'm going to do the first one on camera with you, and then I will do the rest off camera. So it's just a decrease
in each stitch around, or in each stitch around. Okay, so you'll just keep on doing that around, and I will see you at the end. Alright, so I'm at the end, and I just have to do my slip stitch. Okay. Alright, so it's round 18. And then it goes to the bee's wings and sewing all the parts of the bee. So I'm going to cut this yarn and pull it through. Okay. It looks like my camera is going to die soon, so I'm going to do this really quickly. I'm going to take the little plastic needle and I'm just going to weave in and out of the stitches. Alrighty, so my camera died, so I had to go charge it. But here we are at the end here, and I am just closing up the back of this bee. This needle is pretty decent. It is kind of flimsy and feels a little bit insecure. However, I did get it from the Dollar Tree, so I'm not gonna be too high on expectations. Okay. So I'm just knotting this off, going through some other stitches. Okay, I'm gonna cut the yarn. So it does, the colors seem to yield some extra yarn on the side, so that's nice. That way you're not worried about if you're gonna have enough. Okay, so for the bee's wings, it looks really simple. So I'm assuming we're gonna do a magic ring like we did before, and then round 1 is a chain, single crochet, slip stitch. Round 2, chain, single crochet, increase, slip stitch, and round 3 is a chain 1, 1 single crochet, 1 increase 6 times, and then slip stitch. Take the working yarn and do a chain to secure. Okay, and then we're gonna make 2 wings. So we already did the chain 1, so it's 6 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then we're gonna pull that yarn tight. Okay. And then we're going to slip stitch into that first stitch that we made. Chain 1, and then 6 single crochets in each stitch around. So we're going to do 6 single crochets in each stitch, including that first stitch that we just slip stitched into. So it's 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets, 2, and 2, okay. So now we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we made. Okay, and then round 3 is a chain 1, 1 single crochet, and then increase 6 times. So we're going to chain 1, so it's 1 single crochet in that first stitch that we just slip stitched into, and the next stitch is an increase. Okay, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, increase, single crochet, and increase, and then you're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet that we did to finish off. And then it says leave enough of a yarn tail for sewing, so I'm going to just chain 1 and then give about like a foot for sewing. You probably don't need that much, but and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the other one off camera, and then I may see about sewing this tail end in, and if not, then I'll probably just kind of cut it closer to the beginning. I'll be back. Alright, so again, there is some yarn left over from all 3 colors, so that's good in case you need to start over or try again. There's leftover. That is fantastic. Okay, so I have made the 2 wings, and it looks like to sew the wings on,
So it says, according to figure 1 through 2, sew the wings to the body, and then 3, 4, sew the bee's mouth. So I don't think it really matters, honestly, which way you do it, but I think it's good to do the wings first and then the mouth, just so that if you're not trying to do a wonky mouth, that it doesn't come out wonky. I'm gonna sew the wings together, and I'm gonna start where they tie off. I'm just gonna go in through one side and out through the other side, as you can see here. And I'm just gonna do this on 2 stitches. Okay. And then I'm gonna take my bee and make sure I have it where the eyes are. And I'm gonna line it up. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through one of the stitches on the yellow, and one on the black, okay. And then I'm gonna go through a stitch of the black, and I'm gonna sew one of the back stitches of the wings on, and go through a stitch of the yellow. Okay. And then I'm gonna try to get, there we go, to that stitch where that white is coming through at. And I'm just going to knot off here, and then here. Okay. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the yarn a little bit shorter. I'm going to knot this off just to be extra secure. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my crochet hook and go in through a stitch that is kind of loose, and I'm just going to pull the yarn tail through, cut it. Okay, so those are the wings. Alright, so now we are going to sew the eyes on, or the mouth on, sorry, which it just looks like you sew it on like normal. So we're going to take a little bit of black that it gives you and the little needle, and I'm going to I'll probably start sewing it on from over here. So I'm going to go through a stitch by the mouth, and I will show you why in a second. But I'm going to go through a stitch close to the beginning of the circle, and then bring it out, and then go through this stitch, and I'm going to turn it and go out the side of the mouth that I came in. And I'm going to do that one more time. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in through that stitch I just came out of and go out where I first went in. And I'm going to make a little knot. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same needle through. Go in and out just through kind of any random stitch, but I'm just going to go through a bottom stitch there. And then the rest of this, I'm just going to use the back of my crochet hook and just stuff it in the body. Okay, so this is the bee, and I'm pretty sure, yep, there's no stinger or anything. So my thoughts on this is that it's a really cute project, especially for beginners. I would not advise that you make this and give it to a small child that cannot have small parts, because these safety eyes are not very secure. And I can just see them like getting a hold of the eyes, pulling them out, and either a choking hazard or they lose them. So I would suggest not making these for a small child that can choke on small parts. And I would also suggest even using a little bit of like glue, like a glue gun, to kind of secure the eyes even further, just to give it a little bit more security. But this is honestly really cute. It's really, really cute. I do appreciate that they gave a bunch of the supplies that you need. This crochet hook is pretty decent to save. It's a good hook, especially for somebody that's a beginner or doesn't want to go out and buy a bunch of crochet hooks, even though there are amazing crochet hooks out there. It does not have a size on it. It's sturdy enough that I think it would be good to keep in the collection. This needle, it works pretty decently. It does feel a little bit more flimsy than it could be, and it does feel a little bit too short. I noticed that when I was working on the bee and sewing everything in, I just wish that they had just a little bit of extra, like half an inch to an inch on the needle. Just that way it was easier to kind of grab. But for a dollar store product, it works well, gets the job done. And I do like how they give you extra yarn. That's something I was wondering about, if it was going to be enough yarn to do the project and if there was going to be extra. So you could definitely, if you didn't want to do the joins how they have you do it in the instructions, you can definitely take a scrap piece of yarn from the project and use that as a stitch marker. But they do give you the opportunity to do the joins, which are, I will say, not my favorite way for amigurumi, just because you have that join right there. I'm glad that they gave directions. They give you lots of pictures, and the directions are pretty well straightforward. They also show you how to do the basic stitches. When you get these products, I would definitely read through the instructions because I definitely missed the magic ring portion. I thought that that was just a suggestion, but is literally how you start the project. I also loved how they said that the black yarn is going to be shown in the red font. That was extremely helpful. So I would probably give this like a 7 or an 8 out of 10, honestly, because it's pretty good price for what you get. The instructions, I would probably read through them a couple times just to make sure that you understand it, and also the diagrams can help you out. The only thing that it doesn't give is a stitch marker, but that's again because of how they finish off at the end of the round. But if you wanted to do that part differently, go ahead and grab a stitch marker. But yeah, 7.5, 8 out of 10. I would recommend this for a more of a late beginner, more intermediate, for someone to do a project with. I'm definitely going to be keeping this crochet hook. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do make one of these or any of the others in the collection, feel free to let me know how you liked it down in the comment section. I think it's really cute. This is my first time using safety eyes, so I don't know if the way that these safety eyes are is actually how all of them are. Meaning, I don't know if the back comes off as easily for all of the safety eyes or if it's just this product. But they're pretty cute. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Make sure to subscribe, share this video if you know someone that might want to watch it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!